Do you want insights into a particular relationship? In this video, I'll show you one way you can do that with the help of tarot. Keep watching. Hi, it's Leia. Welcome to this episode of Diaries of a Witchy Creative Life. I felt inspired today to put together a video about a 3-card spread that could help you understand a relationship better. This is part of a series of how-to tarot videos, and there are already a few that I've uploaded prior to this one. I'll post the link to that playlist in the description. You might benefit from this series of videos if you're a beginner to tarot, want a refresher on your tarot practice. Let's say you stopped and now it's kind of like you're starting over again, or you're picking up again, but you do have some background. And even for those who have an existing active practice but are looking around to see if there's anything else out there that they might resonate with. While those other videos in this series that I've already uploaded could give you more background as to the style of how the readings work on this channel and whatnot, let me explain a little bit. The style of readings here is not predictive. You know how the reputation of tarot in the old days and even today among those who don't really know a lot about it is that it's used predictively or for fortune telling. My particular style is not. There are many different ways that tarot can be used, and here we use it for self-awareness, healing, doing shadow work. Shadow work is going deep within to find those parts of ourselves that we may be in denial of, or it could be that we aren't aware of these parts at all, but they're there and they affect the way we live, even if we don't know about them. So having this awareness or knowledge can help us move forward, make better decisions, etc., etc. Since they do get in the way and could lead to self-sabotage if we don't know about them. In fact, even if we do know about them, but all the more if we don't. In this video, as well as in the others that already exist in this series at this point, we are using the Lightseers Tarot by Chris Ann. I may use a different demo deck in the future, depending on if the video calls for it or if I feel inspired to, but this is one of my absolute most favorite decks. So for now, I am sticking with it. While you can definitely read tarot by freely pulling cards, and by this I mean not having a spread that is a framework for your reading, in this video I'm going to show you a 3-card spread that could help give more of an outline to what you're reading. If you watch the first video that I made in this series, which is how to read tarot cards instantly, that was more about simply reading what's on the cards and delivering the message, but it wasn't about answering any particular question or having each card be defined by something, as in, let's say in a past, present, future spread. The 3 cards all stand for something, and as you dive deeper into your tarot practice, you may want to use more in-depth spreads, longer spreads, but a beginner might want to start with fewer cards, although this spread is useful even into your intermediate years of practicing tarot, or way advanced into the future years even. Sometimes keeping it concise can be more helpful since there's less information to chew on for the person you're reading. And sometimes it's also just simply a matter of there isn't a lot of time, or they book a half-hour session with you versus an hour. So let's dive in. We are gonna pick 3 cards to do a demo reading using the shadow work approach as I practice it personally. All right, so 3 cards. This is the first one. I'll just put them here for a moment. Second one, and third. We'll be taking a look at them one by one. Let's take a look at the first one, which in this spread stands for the Sitter. And in this case, we have number 12 from the Major Arcana, the Hanged Man. I'm gonna put it over here since I'm leaving room for the other cards as well. Okay, so the first card in this 3-card spread, as I mentioned, stands for you if you're doing this reading for yourself, or the sitter or the querent. The style we follow here is to formulate questions based on the card meaning for your sitter to chew on and contemplate. That begins our shadow work process to pull out all sorts of thoughts and feelings, emotions, memories that they have, as guided by the card meaning, which also relates to the position that it's in. You can look at the book if you're not yet familiar with the meaning, but once you have the meaning of the card, you then ask them how they relate to that, or you create questions based off of the card meaning. So, okay, the Hangman is about shifting your perspective in a situation and seeing things differently. Another meaning would be letting go, surrendering. And if there's anything else that you have to say about the meaning, you could bring that up to your sitter. If anything is coming to you intuitively, and we'll get to intuition in another video in this series, but yeah, if there's anything coming up for you, you could bring that up too. So for example, I could ask the person I'm reading for, in this relationship that you want more clarity on, what has it been like to let go, to surrender? And that gets them to contemplate. They could say something like, hearing that question about this relationship is something I totally relate to because I've been on the fence about getting involved with this person. I didn't really want to admit it because they seem to be a great person, and it's been difficult for me to find someone wonderful. And now here's this person right here. I really want this to work. That's why I decided to give it a try. But I'm actually really hesitant. And at that point, now that they've brought that up, you can keep guiding them to share this information, these feelings that they're now willing to look at. I've mentioned it in some of the other how-to videos, but we make sure here that we don't give advice based on what we would do in our own lives or if we were in their shoes, so that they can see and decide for themselves based on their morals, their values, what they're aligned with, how it is that they want to move forward or what they want to do. We guide them towards that, but we don't tell them what to do. So okay, flip over the second card, which in this case is the 8 of Wands. This card stands for the other person in the relationship. And I want to bring up now, I might make a longer video on this because it is important, but I will say this now, and this applies anytime your reading involves another person, as in someone other than the querent. For someone who reads tarot, ethics are important. It's okay to explore how the other party is from the sitter's perspective, or in such a way that relates to the sitter. But looking into someone with the intention of spying on them is a very different thing. We are not doing it with the intention of digging deep into their psyche or to try to figure out their activities when they're not with a sitter. Don't get me wrong, sometimes, even without that being asked, there may be indications of something exactly like that showing up. And even then, you might be misinterpreting it, so you wouldn't just want to blurt that out, is the way that I would personally do it. And I would say it's better to err on the side of being ethical. And so back to what we're doing, to give you a better illustration of how to do a relationship reading, but you aren't spying on the other person. Okay, so the 8 of Wands is about speed, forward movement, inspiration. There's a lot of dynamic energy there. And with our shadow work style of reading, we don't even have to do any interpretation there in such a way where we tell the sitter, oh, your partner seems to be this kind of person or that kind of person. So if I were conducting the reading right now, one thing that I could do is give the card meaning to the sitter. You know, mention all that. Speed, forward movement, inspiration, fieriness. And ask the sitter, how do you relate any of that to your partner, or if they're starting to date this person and it's not yet their partner, this person that you're seeing right now. In that time, they get the opportunity to think about that. They could say, for instance, oh my goodness, this person is way more into the relationship than I am. From the moment we met, they've been prodding me to go on a date with them, to do all sorts of stuff that I wouldn't have thought of because I'm not as adventurous as they are. They want to dive into all sorts of experiences. And we just met a few months ago, but they're already talking about commitments that are to be expected, I think, in the future of a partner that you've known longer or been with longer. They want to make commitments that I don't feel ready to. And so you see right there an example of the difference between what we're doing here as compared to a reading that's more on the predictive side or on the fortune-telling side. The sitter, the person who's being read for, thinks and digs. And in the course of the reading, they get an opportunity to see the picture as it is because it's laid out in front of them, as they themselves said. They may not have connected the dots before, that maybe they feel pressured to do things that they're not ready for, or they go along with the ideas of the person that they're seeing because they don't want to be thought of as old-fashioned, etc., etc. But they really don't want to do a lot of the things that this person that they're seeing suggests or wants to try with them. And when you're done discussing that, we can take a look now at the third card, which in this case is about the relationship itself. This is the Page of Cups, card number 3 in this spread. So we follow the same procedure, which is we take the card meaning, and the Page of Cups is being open emotionally, artistically, intuitively, allowing yourself to be led forward in these areas or to explore experiences in these areas without necessarily knowing what's next or without planning. It's about being adventurous in those areas that I mentioned, emotionally, artistically, /creatively, intuitively. Those are all part of the realm of cups. Once you share the meaning with your sitter, you could ask them how they feel about that, or how it has already manifested in their relationship. And they might say something like, as I had mentioned, this person that I'm seeing is very adventurous, very quick to act, and I've allowed myself many times to be pulled in the direction that they want to go, even though I am unsure, or sometimes I don't even really want to. I do see the value in being less uptight, being more open, being more trusting, and I've realized that in the span of time that I've been with them. So I do want more of that in my life, but at my pace, not in such a way where somebody else sets the boundaries for what I experience. And so there you go, right? There's an insight right there. Something that they might not have arrived at without the digging that you've done in this reading. Or who knows, maybe they would have come to that conclusion themselves eventually by doing some journaling or reflecting, but definitely right now, the reading played a role in their coming to that understanding. And that's our goal here. It isn't going to be the same for every person, of course, in terms of how huge of an aha moment it is. Sometimes it's very subtle, but nevertheless an important discovery is made. And at other times, the sitter may leave feeling a little disoriented even, despite our best efforts to guide them towards a place where they have more clarity as to what they want to do next, or to how they feel now after seeing the information that they themselves shared. It could be that they're still in a place of processing and might need a little bit of time. And so at the end of the reading, we can do a quick summing up, tying together what the sitter shared. It bears repeating. We don't tell them what to do. More like we guide them. More like we help them through our questions realize what they want to do next. And so we could ask, after all the cards have been flipped over, how does this information that you yourself have shared make you feel? And what do you want to do about it? And so we are going to end this lesson here. If you found this helpful, in future videos, we could take a look at how we can dive even more deeply into the cards, how we can take a look at connections between the cards in a spread, and get even more insights from doing that. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. To those of you who resonate with this style of reading, more shadow work, inner growth, self-awareness, tarot videos are coming your way. I'll be back soon. Take care of yourself. Bye for now. Lots more Diaries of a Witchy Creative Life are coming your way.